fire, chasing scores higher, higher, higher. Pixel warriors on a glowing screen, 8-bit heroes in a crazy dream. Coins drop clinking like a metal song. Game over flash, but I'm still headstrong. Pixel warriors on a glowing screen, 8-bit heroes in a crazy dream. Coins drop clinking like a metal song. Game over flash, but I'm still headstrong. Push the button, hear the roar. Fight the battle, craving more. Game of legends in my veins. Pixelated dreams remain. High scores flashing in the midnight glow. Synths and shred and set the tempo flow. Leather jackets and teased up hair. Living legends, we don't care. Electric haze on a battle floor. Digital ghosts knock at the door. One more life, it's do or die. Final level, reaching for the sky. Push the button, hear the roar. Fight the battle, craving more. Game of legends in my veins. Pixelated dreams remain. Flashing in the midnight glow. Synths and shredding set the tempo flow. Leather jackets and teased up hair. Living legends, we don't care. Electric haze on a battle floor. Digital ghosts knock at the door. One more go, one more life, trick hair. Push the button, hear the roar. Fight the battle, craving more. Game of legends in my veins. Pixelated dreams remain. Electric haze on a battle floor. Digital ghosts knock at the door. One more life, it's do or die. Final level, reaching for the sky. From legends in my veins. Pixelated dreams remain. Oh.
Okay.
What?
The 80s called. They want their store back.
Neon lights burning night so wild. Twisted in hand like a reckless child. I keep buzzing electric fire. Chasing scores higher, 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 higher. Pixel warriors on a glowing screen. Joystick in hand like a reckless child. Arcade buzzing electric fire. Chasing scores higher, higher, higher. Pixel warriors.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. MINDSEYE chat with you here. This is Game On. Still having a couple of technical glitches. I gotta try and figure an easier way to set all this stuff up. I don't get a producer. I gotta do it all by myself. All right, we're going to be taking a look at two different games today. Hopefully the audio's down. Last episode, that thing was really high up, even though I'm looking at the meters, and my vocals are way above the music, so it shouldn't be that you can't hear me over the music. So hopefully that's the case. Andrew Roberts is in the house. What's up with you? RWN Retro Wrestling Network is here. Welcome aboard. And to everybody else that's either watching live throughout this little stream that we're going to be doing, and or anybody that checks it out after the fact. We're going to talk about two different games today, and I was debating on how I wanted to do this, which order I wanted to take them in, and I think we'll end it on a good note. So that means we're going to talk about the first game first. There's a title. I didn't even really know much about this one. It got under the radar with me. The Beast is an upcoming title that's really captivated my attention, so I've been just really grinding the crap out of Dying Light 2 lately because it's a spin-off of the Dying Light series. And it's coming out at the end of this month, I think. I want to say the 27th. Don't quote me on that. I should have had that information, but I think it's the 27th of this month it comes out. So with that in mind, I have been really, really just dying lighting the crap out of things lately and enjoying it. No problem there. And that's kind of what happens with me with gaming. I'll get into one particular, and it will absorb me. Last calendar year was completely about Fallout 4. The amount of hours, I actually looked it up on the PlayStation just to see how many hours I put. I was like, damn, I need to get a life. No, I mean, it was a lot. But again, the game captivated me, and it just intrigued me, and everything about it I loved. So that's kind of the thing. I miss a lot of games because I get caught up in the really good ones that I like a lot and that I don't even pay attention to other ones. So this one got under the radar with me, and it was just released, I think, June 10th, if I'm not mistaken, and it's called MINDSEYE. Now, if somebody would have told me there's a game called MINDSEYE, it's a AAA title, and it's coming out, I would have automatically thought James Bond. Just sounded like a James Bond game to me. Turns out, no, it's not that at all. And then a lot of people are saying it's going to be a combination of Grand Theft Auto and Cyberpunk. And watching some of the trailer and stuff, I was like, oh, yeah, that definitely has a Cyberpunk vibe to it. Well, we'll talk about that. But first, in case you're like me and didn't have a clue or don't have a clue what MINDSEYE is all about, we're going to get you caught up to speed here pretty quick, I think. So hang tight with me, and let's take a look at MINDSEYE.
Rated M for mature.
Yes, wake up and free me.
What are you doing here?
Come with me.
All around me are familiar faces.
At first, I thought it was just broken synapses in my head.
Keep your lens feet on.
In years. I've been seeing things. Like a part of me that's been buried down deep feels like it's just knocking to get out. I'll be seeing you around, Charlie. Maybe this is the real me.
Diaz, you were a good soldier.
I don't want any part of your future. It's activating.
And I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had.
PlayStation.
MINDSEYE is one of those big expectation titles that delivers nothing for all of the hype. It released on June 10th of this year and has already commanded Concord-level ratings and reviews. With Metacritic coming in at a dismal 38 and a user rating of 2.5, it's clear that this is one you're going to want to avoid at all costs. Costs, yes, let's talk about that. Starting at $60. $60. MINDSEYE was developed by Build a Rocket Boy, a studio based in Edinburgh, Scotland. Leslie Benzies, known for his work for the Grand Theft Auto series, served as the game's director. The game was created originally as a proof of concept for Everywhere, a game creation tool. It was envisioned as a premium experience set entirely within the free-to-play Everywhere platform. Early on, it appears they missed the mark. Even as the free-to-play, it still wouldn't have held an audience. Let's take a look and hear what the experts have to say.
Yes. In fact, I'd argue it's even worse than everything you've been hearing about it. I feel as though I'm one of the few specimen on this planet that is about to finish the game.
Shit!
It's total garbage. I had the worst time on my own with so many glitches that I just stopped and waited for OJ. And the first time we literally loaded up the game, it fucks up.
But the story the game tries to tell in this world is what I found to be, frankly, pretty boring. The game essentially has you driving from A to B, getting out of your car, shooting some things, or clicking on something and heading to the next. These are occasionally broken up by optional side missions and the occasional minigame or stealth sequence or chase or a few other surprises.
Sadly, if anything, the skeptics were too charitable. MINDSEYE is an unmitigated disaster.
It is so terrible across the board in all of the right ways that it becomes extremely entertaining because of how bad it is.
Not only with a bunch of bad popping in the background, but with broken AI.
Shit, I've never seen this happen. I think that one's broken.
First of all, the game hardly functions. It crashes constantly no matter what hardware you have.
Indeed, there are action games 10, even 20 years older than MINDSEYE that are infinitely...
Other than that, nothing. It's garbage. The final verdict for MINDSEYE is a 2! A 2 out of fucking 10! It doesn't quite reach the Mindjack levels.
Now, I would never recommend buying this under any circumstances. It's $60 for a just complete hemorrhoid of an
Unfortunately,
it is
falls
terrible. And everything else
you get a handful of weapons throughout the game, and
dog shit.
most of them feel really soft. None of them are really exciting, and the feedback just isn't there. The hits feel
There's a total of
unsatisfying,
5
and all the
guns.
guns
There's
just sound
no
muted,
melee. There's
and
no
here we get
stealth.
to why MINDSEYE this is just a boilerplate, simple third-person shooting system that just feels really outdated.
In 2025. You just can't. If gaming has perfected anything, it's shooting dudes with a gun. And there are innumerable examples to draw from that show how to get it right.
It is also locked to 30 FPS on consoles. It runs like shit. But the biggest sin is just how bad the gameplay is. The gameplay feels like it's out of 2004 when they're still trying to figure out what shooting mechanics look like.
Well, there's that. So, I've never played the game, so I can't go for my own personal experience, but these are guys who I watch all the time and listen to on reviews of games that I'm wondering about, and yeah. Now, out of all of them, I think Angry Joe and I have the similar style of reporting how we feel about things. And I've come to learn over the years that a lot of the stuff he and I are on the same page with. There's certain exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, I've bought games that I've loved because of his reviews, and I have thankfully avoided games that turned out to be like this because of his reviews. So that all said, MINDSEYE, with a lot of money behind it and a lot of expectations, clearly underperformed. Now, does that mean the game is dead and buried? Doesn't mean that necessarily, no. And I say that only because the reality is we look at another title that was the same way not too long ago, and that would be Cyberpunk 2077. It launched every bit as broken as this thing did, and then some. And they were also giving out refunds. PlayStation, if you haven't heard, PlayStation Network is giving out refunds. I think it does depend on how much of the game you played. But I'm pretty sure within the 1 hour time frame, and apparently, according to everybody, it don't take you that long to realize this game ain't working. If they were smart, they'd have had a 1 hour opening scene so you didn't get to actually play the game yet. But for PlayStation to offer refunds, that simply doesn't happen very often at all. In my review, I mentioned Concord level. Concord is one of the rare exceptions where everybody just got their money back if you bought it on PlayStation Network or if you bought it on Steam. If you bought it at a store, you're a little bit more screwed. I actually bought a copy of it recently just because I want to have it in the collection. You can't play it. It's completely useless. But it is the all-time worst game in so many ways, especially for a AAA title. Well, this one right now is right there getting ready to give them a little bit of competition. Probably won't reach the same level as Concord in disaster. But, yeah, it's... from all accounts, it is in really, really rough shape. Now, the question is this new upstart company. I believe it's called Rocket Boy, if I'm not mistaken. And this is their first title. And what I just saw recently, even after I made my video and stuff, is that what we're looking at here with MINDSEYE was actually a part of another game. So there was another game, and there's a part in there where you go into this MINDSEYE, and then you're in this game. So this was supposed to be like a sub-level game. And then they just ended up saying, okay, no, this is going to be the game, and they put it out there. Clearly they didn't test it, or they tested it and realized it's a piece of shit, but too late, we got dates to meet, and we're putting it out anyway. The problem right now is with gaming companies, this is becoming the norm, and I know there are bigger problems in the world. Just turn on the news, and I understand that. I still think there has to be a certain level of accountability to these companies that keep on doing this. Hello, 2K. How are you? There's no excuse for it. There just isn't, except for the fact that they can do it and get away with it. That's the only reasoning behind why they get away with what they're doing, is because they're allowed to. There's no federal committee that is holding them accountable. If this was an automotive industry, if this was a car company putting out a car where the wheels just fell off, steering wheel locked in position at 60 miles an hour, the federal government would be up their ass with a microscope. I mean, obviously I see the difference in that, but I don't understand why there isn't a federal involvement in these companies, especially a startup company. I mean, you've got an obligation to people that, if you're going to sell this to them, you're going to do one of two things: either a total recall like they did on the cars, or you're going to, do your own damn testing. You can't release it and let them be the testers and charge them $60. That's the base price. That's if you didn't get the extras. And I was looking at that ad one more time, and it's like, if you pre-order now, you get these little bonus things. And what the hell, man? Seriously? Worry about the game working, not the bonus things by pre-order. You want to pre-order things, but you don't want to have a product that works. It's good to have your stuff in order. You got to have priorities in life. That's just the way I feel. All right. So that's MINDSEYE. I don't know if any of you guys have even looked into this game, if you've purchased this game or not. Hopefully you haven't purchased it, and if you did, hopefully you will get your money back quickly. So that is what I have for MINDSEYE. We're going to talk about something else now, because I thought it'd be nice to end on a good note. Again, when I tell you how I find about games, some of it's through marketing, and other times it's word of mouth. And the other night, I was literally just like having some insomnia, and normally I don't do this too much, but I went on my friends tab on PlayStation and just seeing who's on, but it never really paid attention to the fact that it's also showing you what they're playing. And I'm like, let's see what people are playing. And one in particular caught my attention because, again, never heard of it, is a game called The Finals. And I said, well, let me go ahead and do a little checking up on this and watch some videos and reviews and see what it's all about. And with that in mind, we're going to take a look at The Finals.
Welcome to the future of the finals!
The pressure's peaking. Every second counts, and these plays are next level.
This is what the finals is all about. Split-second decisions, teamwork under fire, and victory carved in chaos.
Love it! But sometimes the best strategy is to just hit your opponent really, really hard.
All right. I actually thought I had a little bit more than that. Now I'm confused. Well, let's give this a second. There might be more. So here's some gameplay.
Blink fast, shoot faster. This is TDM. Let's go.
I jumped in and picked this thing up, and right away, I'm not great at shooter games. I do okay sometimes, not great sometimes. I'm definitely never going to be like a world leader, and I know that. But I have fun with them. And I had fun with this. It's really up-tempo, high energy, sound effects are cool. This particular, there's multiple versions of the game you can play, like many of them. This one here had a zero gravity thing going on, which that one I didn't like so much, and that's the one I captured video for, so what can you tell? But the other 5-on-5 team death matches, things like that, they've got another one where it's 3 teams of 3. So you got 9 people all competing, trying to capture a loot box and things like that, and then maneuver it to another location, and it's all hell breaks loose. So the maps are fun, they're entertaining, they're engaging. There's so many different little nuances, though, that make this different than games like Call of Duty, for example. So yeah, you still have the shooter aspect of it, and those people that are really good at those things are going to do really well at this one. But then there's moving things around. You can pick things up, launch them, blow them up. Like there, you know, there's so much going on in these games that I found it really, really, really entertaining. And the best part of it, and I don't want to jump too far ahead because I know, I wonder if I wonder when I did the edit, did I? Yeah, this is more of the part where we're carrying stuff around and we throw it. But this is without the zero gravity issue, so I like this version a whole lot more. But there was an actual damn review. What happened with that?
Fantastic steal by the shotgun. Risky moves reap rewards.
Let me check something here real quick. At least I thought there was. I'm gonna check something out here real quick. Hold on. Finals is an FPS game with a fast-paced, high-energy presentation that gives everyone a chance to advance at their own pace. It originally launched back in December of 23 and recently introduced its latest installment with Chapter 7. With different classes, you can find one that'll fit to your skill level and style of play. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. We'll get it right sooner or later.
Welcome to the future of the finals!
The pressure's peaking. Every second counts, and these plays are next level.
This is what the finals is all about. Split-second decisions, teamwork under fire, and victory carved in chaos.
Love it! But sometimes the best strategy is to just hit your opponent really, really hard.
Finals is an FPS game with a fast-paced, high-energy presentation that gives everyone a chance to advance at their own pace. It originally launched back in December of 23 and recently introduced its latest installment with Chapter 7. With different classes, you can find one that'll fit to your skill level and style of play. Metacritic gives this one a score of 80, while the user reviews are in at 6.8. The price point is one you really can't argue with, as it's a free-to-play. It comes in at a reasonable 9.12 gigabytes on PlayStation. So with nothing to lose, why not pick it up and say the magic words? Game on. All right. I knew I had done an actual review for the game. I just labeled the both of them almost identically, and I put the wrong video up in here. I apologize for that, but yeah, there you go. I played several hours of that thing already, and it's a lot of fun. And again, I am not great at shooter games. I have good days, I have bad days, kind of thing. It's just been fun. Even so, one of the things I like about it, and again, I know a lot of games do the same basic thing, which is they give you different loadout options. I'll always go as a support, somebody to lay down some cover fire, fast on the med kits kind of thing, get people revived, and that's my thing. That's where I can be helpful. I'm not a sniper. I'm not going to be a sniper. I'm not the guy that goes in there with the battle armor and just takes everybody's heads off. So that's my role. I'm usually okay with that, and that's something that this game offers. A different role for every playing style. You'll have a good time with, and it's free. So as opposed to $60 for a game that doesn't work at all, or a free game that's a blast and a whole lot of fun to play, I would say between these two, it's a no-brainer. The Finals is definitely worth the time and the energy. If you guys, anybody out there played this already that's in the chat right now? Have any of you guys actually played? I hadn't even heard of it, which is unusual for free to play. Normally, those are games that I hear about. I do watch a lot of videos from guys that review all kinds of upcoming titles and things of that nature, and I really am surprised that this one slipped past me somehow. But it happens. It happens. Nobody? All right, well, if you haven't, I suggest you give it a shot because you really just cannot go wrong with it. I can't say enough how much I find this entertaining, mindless fun. It's the matches last about 10 minutes in length. William Perkins in the house says he's seen it but never give it a chance to play. Well, dude, again, if you like shooter games, I mean, there's people that are just, that's not their thing. They don't want to do them. But if you're into shooter games, definitely worth giving it a shot. It's on all platforms, and it's free to play. Obviously, they're going to, micro-transition the crap out of you if you want certain skins and if you want different looking weapons. But from what I've seen thus far, there's no pay-to-play, which is important. Nobody's buying a better gun that you just can't compete with. This actually, what it reminds me of a little bit is the Star Wars Battlefront. The more you do during the match itself, you gain points, and then you can use those points after you get killed. Before you spawn back in, you can buy better weapons, better armor, things of that nature. That's kind of what I've seen out of it so far. I generally just stick with my loadout straight through at this point in time. I'm still learning the nuances of the game, and I'm not quick enough to, during a 30-second cooldown to grab everything that I need and even know where everything's at to find it. There's a lot to be learned about it. But all things said, really good time. Really good time. Definitely worth giving it a shot if you haven't already. All right, well, that's literally all I had for today's episode. This is going to be our weekly series here called Game On. Sometimes we'll do reviews like this. Sometimes I might just jump on and play something for an hour and show you what I've been working on. If there's anything you guys like a lot, just put it in the comments below, because that's how this whole thing started, right? This whole thing started that way. And that's kind of the vibe here. It's a community thing, back and forth. What you guys like, I want to know about, because it might be something that I hadn't even heard of. And that's really how this all came about. I was hearing about Dragon's Age Inquisition, and I haven't gone too much. I restarted it. I didn't go very far into it on the stream. I restarted it with a different character. I knew I didn't want to deal with the bow and arrow thing because, again, that's not my thing. So in that case, I switched it up now where I'm doing the heavy armor instead, and I'm liking that better. But I still have a ways to go on that. It's just very early on in the process. So there's that. All right. Other than that, I think we're good to go. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by. And remember to find time every day to say the two magic words, Game On.
Neon lights burn the night so loud, joystick in hand like a reckless child, arcade buzzing, electric fire, chasing scores